Hello, third graders. Well, just a review from last week, we talked about how weather patterns over time become part of the climate of an area. So this map is showing the 4 climate zones of our world. We notice that there is the polar or subpolar zones, which are closer to the poles, meaning that this area, it's farther away from the sun, not as much direct sunlight hits this area. Then we have the temperate zone in green. And you'll notice that over here in North America by the Great Lakes, this is where we live. So our climate is the temperate zone. We see a variety of seasons and temperatures and precipitation. Then there's the subtropical zone. And then in the middle, near the equator, is the tropical zone. Again, we talked about this in the article we read last week, Friday, that the tropical zone is by the equator. So this is where most of the sun rays hit the planet. So it is warmest here. So knowing that there's those 4 climate zones, I want to show you some data that I found. And this data shows different places on our planet and the different zones that they have. So in Norway, it's part of the polar zone. So this chart here is telling me the average monthly temperature. Over to the left column, there are different temperatures ranging from 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Then down at the bottom, it's the different months of the year. Just looking at this data, I see right away that most of the year it's really cold. Look at 4 months of the year, it's below 20 degrees. Brr, that's freezing. And I noticed that all of a sudden there's a big peak in temperatures. You see how it rises right here in July? And that the temperature goes just above 40 degrees. Wow, that's the highest temperature they receive on average. That's cold climate. Another thing I noticed is that it drops down right after the month of July, back down to those cold temperatures. Definitely is the polar climate. And then if we look at their precipitation, remember precipitation can be snow, sleet, hail, rain, anything that falls from the clouds like that moisture. So this data is represented in a graph that shows precipitation in inches from 0 to 12 inches, and then down below again is the months. So not a whole lot of precipitation here in the polar region. It looks like it's less than 2 inches. Pretty consistent. Nothing stands out as a lot or a little bit. The month of July when it was really warm, not too much precipitation. Okay, let's try with a different region. This is the tropical region, and this is in Indonesia. This graph looks totally different. Same setup, temperature to the left, months down below. Whoa, look at Indonesia. The average monthly temperature, look at that, it's like completely 80 degrees throughout the entire year. Wow, pretty consistent climate. But let's check out the precipitation. So much different than the polar region in Norway, where it was less than 2 inches. Here, there's so much precipitation. And it looks like there's a lot more precipitation from September, October, November, December. So later in the year, they can get up to almost 12 inches, 10 inches of rain in a month. That's a lot. What's next? Okay, temperate. So this is in Canada. Temperate, that's our climate here. So here I notice that it's really cold January, February, and then it slowly rises, kind of like spring. And then July again is the warmest at about 70 degrees. I said 70 because it's between 60 and 80. And then it slowly drops down into fall weather and then back to winter. Okay. Precipitation, wow, pretty consistent again. Average is about 2 to 3 inches of precipitation each month. All right, well, third graders, I'm going to have you on your seesaw look at some of these graphs from different places. There might be a place in Argentina that's temperate, and your job is to look at the different graphs, the average monthly temperature and total monthly precipitation. Ooh, here's another tropical one in Kenya. And I want you to tell me some of the things that you see. Here's Antarctica. Here's Portugal. That's interesting. New Zealand. And if you're really curious about these places, go back to a map. Check out where these places are. Where are they in that in that climate zone? Again, go back to Seesaw and tell me some of the things that you've noticed. Bye.